Now let's do question 2 now. Let's now do 2a. Let's see what it says. They said graph the curves over the given intervals. Okay, so, and then together with their equations of the tangent lines at the given x values, together with the equation of the tangent line. So let's put the equation of the tangent line so that when we graph, we can be able to do it. They said at the given x value. So equation of the tangent at the given x value. So what do we have? Y equal to sine x, right? This is the thing. Now, remember that to do equation of the tangent, what do we need to have? We need to have a point, and then we are going to have the derivative, and we put that point, whatever. So, for us to find a point, what is the value we are at? They said at x equal to 0. Now, a point, remember, has x and y. So, we need to find the y of that. So, here we can say now, here, you can say, let x equal to 0. So, you can say let x equal to 0. Y will be equal to sine of 0, which is going to also be 0. Okay, you punch in the calculator sine 0, you get 0. So that means our point is 0, 0. Now, what are we going to do now? Now, we can then say, let's find the derivative. So y is equal to sine x. We want to find the equation of the gradient. So we need the point. The point we now have. Now, we need to be able to differentiate. So what is y prime now? Derivative of sine is cos x. Okay, now we can say, at x equal to 0, you can now say at x equal to 0, y prime will be equal to cos of 0, which is still going to be, if you say cos of 0, you now get 1. So this is going to be 1. Here you could have said here, instead of saying let x equal to 0, you can say again, when x equal to 0, you can now say y is equal to sine of 0, and you can say that y will be equal to 0. And you can now have this point. Therefore, you can say, therefore, point is at 0, 0. These are the x0, y0. Now here we are now saying we need to find the derivative, which helps us to find m. The derivative is, we got the derivative to be cos x. Now when you put the point where you are into the derivative, you get the gradient. So here we know the gradient is 1. So you can say, therefore, m is equal to 1. Okay, so you can now say x1 is equal to 0, y1 is equal to 0, and m is equal to 1. So you can now come here and say x1, you can say x minus x1 is equal to m multiplying y minus y1. Okay, this x1 is, you can put here, this would be your x1 comma y1, right? The point where you are. So we saw that x1 is 0 and y1 is 0. That's why we have put it here, okay? And m1, we just found it, okay? So now you can come here and say x minus 0 is equal to 1 multiplying y minus 0. And here, sorry, it's y, I reversed. It's y minus y1 is equal to m multiplying x minus x1. So that's what you'll be saying. So it is y minus 0 is equal to m. The x will be after the m. Multiply x minus 0. So what is your m? Your m is a 1 rather. So we can now say y minus 0 is 1 is equal to 1 times x. So this is the equation of your gradient. Your equation of a gradient is y equal to x. This is the equation of the gradient. So now we can sketch our graph and do everything, because we have everything. We have the equation of the gradient. And now let's sketch our graph. Okay, what do we put here? Pi over 2, which is negative. Then here, pi, negative. Here, 3 pi over 2, negative. Then here, 2 pi, but it's negative. Here, pi over 2, positive. Then here, pi itself. Then here, 3 pi over 2. Then here, 2 pi, that's positive. Now, what is this graph? They want the graph of sine x. So yes, we know that it starts at 1 and that minus 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be somewhere here, minus 1. All right, so now we can punch in the calculator. You put 0 in the calculator, you also get 0. Sine, you punch in the calculator, you say sine of 0, because we are plotting the graph of y equal to sine x. Okay, so you'll be getting sine of all these x values. Okay, you get 0. Now you say sine of pi over 2. Make sure your calculator is in radians. Okay, so you say sine of, open bracket, pi over 2, you get it. Remember, you press the DRG button until your calculator says rad at the top, okay? Then you say sine of pi over 2 what do you get if you say sine of pi over 2? You get a 1. So it means you put it here. Then if you say sine of pi, you must get a 0. Then if you say sine of the open bracket 3 pi over 2, you must get a minus 1. Then if you say sine of 2 pi, you get a 0. So here we know that it goes 1, 0, then minus 1, then 0 on the next point. Then the next point becomes a 1, which is here. Then the next point is a 0. And then you can now put, but here they want you to end at negative 3 pi. So we are starting here. Then you start here, you go down, then you curve. Then you do this, then you curve and go back down again. You curve like this again. And go back like this. So this is going to be the graph. This is your graph of y equal to sine x. And here is your graph. And you'd be done. Now remember, they said you should put again at x equal to 0. You see, at x equal to 0, which is right at the origin here, they want the tangent, okay? They said label each curve and tangent with this equation. So yeah, now we should put the tangent line. So tangent line is going to be this one. It should just touch your curve at that point. So here it touches the curve here. Then if you put a straight line, it should keep going and do something like this, okay? Because this one is a curve, but this will be the tangent, a straight line, which passes and touches the curve right at x equal to 0 and continues down like that, right at x equal to 0. So this is the line y equal to x. We just found it. It's the line y equal to x, and we just found it. So we'll be done. This is your tangent line. You draw a better line than I did. Of course, you'll be using a ruler. You have your straight line like that. Then this is going to be a tangent. Then here is your curve, which you just said y is equal to sine x. This is the curve, okay? And you'd be done. That's all they wanted you to do. And you're done with this one. We found the equation of the tangent, and we've been able to sketch because we know how to sketch. Again, this is your y-axis, and here is your x-axis, okay? And you are done, okay? Now let's go do part B in the next one. Goodbye for now.